Hello everyone, my name is Peyton and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about some drama. Now, I think everyone knows what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the word drama. Conflict between two people, conflict between two sides of people, two groups of people, whatever that may be. And usually people are like, oh, are we back in high school? Is this some high school drama stuff going on? And there's a lot of times when conflicts come up, that itself can be drama, but I'm more talking about either the fallout or the disagreements, for a lack of a better term, and just to put it nicely, between the two parties, where there is conflict and gets people talking about that topic in mass. It spreads like wildfire. And today, this is what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to drama. I'm talking about between the New Orleans Pelicans, the franchise itself, and Zion Williamson, the former number one overall pick back in 2019, and Pelicans forward. And so, before we get into that, I definitely want to kind of just reiterate the fact that some drama, it's so stupid and pointless. You're just thinking to yourself, why am I talking about this? Like, why is this even a topic? Why is this even news? Or it is news because it's just so stupid. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, in case you're not really familiar with what I'm talking about, Zion Williamson is a player for the New Orleans Pelicans, and he has had a rocky start to his career. Not any aspect of his play. When the dude's healthy and he plays on the court, this is a dude that is capable of averaging 28 points a game, about 8 rebounds a game, and he averages about 5 assists a game, somewhere around that ballpark if he plays a full season. Again, there's a few keywords I put in there. If he plays. That's been the biggest problem to his career so far. He has, and this is only his third season, he has more missed career games than played games, which is not a good sign for a healthy player in any league whatsoever. And that was a concern when he was coming out of, I was about to say high school, when he was coming out of college. The 1 year at Duke, he had this weird play where he literally exploded through his shoe. That's just how powerful and strong he is. And he just completely destroyed his shoe, and he actually sprained his knee. And the doctors at that time tried to convince him to stay out, stay away from basketball until after the draft. And he's like, "No, I want to push the recovery and play in time for the NCAA tournament." Now, what's happening here with the Pelicans, he has been on and off injured his 3 years so far, and he, what's it called? So basically, he had to have an operation on his foot. He had a broken metatarsal. It's basically a broken bone in his foot, and it was supposed to have surgery on it, but he was supposed to come back in time for the regular season. And then it got delayed. And then it got delayed again. And then it got delayed to early January. And then got delayed again to February. And then it got to a point where we don't know when he's coming back. And it looks like he needs another surgery. And then in the middle of all this, he goes away from the team to go to Portland for his rehab. And so it's become very, very suspicious about everything that's been going on. And with New Orleans being a small market team, it's gotten everyone to think, does he really want to play in New Orleans? Does he actually want to play for LA or New York? Mainly New York for some reason. And it, it's just it's just drama that is very, very stupid, because there's been reports how he's had rift with the Pelicans, members of the Pelicans organization, and mainly with executive vice president of basketball ops David Griffin, who I have some problems with myself, but that's a whole nother story. And I think, to me, this really stems down when he came in his rookie season. he had a torn meniscus and he had to get it repaired and healed. He came back in the middle of January, and in his NBA debut, he made four threes. He basically took over an NBA game in his NBA debut. And then in the middle of the fourth quarter, when the Pelicans had the momentum, he was taken out of the game because he was on minutes restriction. And he was not happy with that one bit whatsoever. And as a player, I could definitely understand. I could definitely understand the thing with that. But the problem comes in when you're talking about a guy with the way that he plays. And just to give you a better idea of what he might, just to give you an idea of how he plays and what he looks like physically, you're talking about a dude that's 6'6, 6'7. On a good day, he weighs about 280 pounds, but yet he runs and plays basically like he has the ball handling of a guard, he has the moves like a guard, but he can also play down the post. You're talking about a dominant big man who also has some guard skills. So he relies on his athleticism and everything, which requires a lot of lower body control, which him on the court he does have. But unfortunately, it seems like his body is giving out on him already at the ripe age of 21 years old with a torn meniscus, broken foot, and it's really not good on him when he has all that power, all that athleticism, and it's going to his knees and his feet that is supporting that body type with the reckless abandon that he plays with. And so it sounds like I'm defending the Pelicans organization. To a small extent, I am. Because you have to look at it from the standpoint of, again, he was a number one overall pick. You want to have a long career with a guy who's as physically gifted and athletic and talented as Williamson is. This is a guy who was already marketed by the time he was in college and had the hype level of someone like LeBron James back when he was coming out of the draft in 2003. There's a few others that had that type of hype, but Zion was the first one to really have the kind of skill that was comparable to LeBron James, along with, to an extent, the height and the weight. LeBron James is about 6'6", 6'7", or actually no, 6'7", 6'8", 250. So it's actually not that much of a difference. It's actually 30 pounds more for Zion, which is even worse. And that's why I can understand fully, especially at the time, why the Pelicans pulled him. And to be clear, I want to say it wasn't the coach, it was more of the training staff. And from that point on, it's gotten worse and worse with Zion's trust in the organization, but especially with David Griffin. The basically the main person we're talking about here, the highest level person with the Pelicans organization outside the owner. And the owner, Gail Benson, is not involved with this whatsoever, to be perfectly clear. So she's not really a part of this story, even though she owns the team. So in year two, which is Zion's lone real healthy season, and even then he didn't even play a full season. The Pelicans, and this is David Griffin's decision, decided to go on to Stan Van Gundy, a head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans at that time, and there were reports that there was rift in the locker room between him and the players, and he made basketball not fun or anything like that. And then it made Zion trust David Griffin even less because of head coaching decisions with the organization. Okay? And so from that point on, I can actually side with the players and especially Zion, because it's like, well, why you're trying to bring in some sort of culture and stability, but you're not doing that, switching head coaches every single year. Zion's been in the league, okay? So that doesn't help David Griffin and the Pelicans one bit. And I do think now, it might be a little bit of a sidebar to an extent, that Willie Green, the current head coach of the Pelicans, and the third coach in 3 years, is the right hire. The record might not back it up, but I do want to say that when you talk to the players, you watch them play, even though they might not be very good, you could tell they give their all every single game. He pushes them to their limit, and they respond really, really well. And then obviously, this does not involve Zion Williamson. He has not played a single game this season. And you talk about how everyone raves over Willie Green as a head coach, and to the point when C.J. McCollum was traded to New Orleans, Josh Hart and Nikhil Alexander Walker, two of the players who were traded away from the Pelicans, sat on courtside seats to support the team right before they moved over to Portland, and the trade was, I guess, quote unquote, finalized. So that's huge, and that just shows how much closer the team has become since Willie Green has took over. So I think now, outside of the drama I'm about to go into a little bit more, that that the Pelicans and mainly Willie Green has instilled a positive culture, a winning culture in the Pelicans organization. Because in the first few games, first 20 about 20 games of the season, the Pelicans started at 1-12 and then got as bad as 3-16. So now they're about 24-36. So right now you can argue they're just a horrible start away from being a 500 level team and being in the play-in tournament. So what's being done here in New Orleans is actually remarkable, and I think Willie Green is a very good head coach to move forward with for the long term. Now, to get a little bit more into the Zion and David Griffin, mainly those two. Those are the main characters in this where the drama stupidity comes in. Okay? So, you have Zion who has been injured all this time, and I can understand from other players who talk about being injured, being away from the team. It does take a mental toll on you. But you do have to be responsible in the sense of you have to stay in playing shape as best as you can and just stay healthy generally. And it doesn't seem like Zion has really done that, considering there were multiple reports saying that he came in to training camp this past fall at over 330 pounds, which is absolute insanity. And then I think that and the foot not really healing properly is contributing to him getting set back to the point where he is going up to Portland. And I think him and mistrust in the organization also comes into play here because the Pelicans have tried so much to get him healthy and into playing shape. A regimen to get him healed, and also a personal chef to cook for Zion so that he can eat healthier foods to lose that weight. But Zion doesn't want to work with them and instead goes to hire his own trainer to go to Portland. And the biggest thing up to me against Zion is the fact that he doesn't say a word to the media personally, which usually I can appreciate that, especially in this day and age where you have cameras all over your face, you have microphones all over the place, and in this age of player empowerment in terms of pushing out your personal beliefs, your opinions, all this type of stuff. I can respect. I'm kind of in the middle on this, where it's like I can respect that, and I can respect the players having a voice in general. But at the end of the day, I watch you play the sport that you play on a professional level. So there's just that kind of balance right there. All right. But when all the cameras and all the direction is in your way and not in a good mood, you would think that he would push out a statement or say something to the media to either defend himself or to clarify what's going on at the very least. But it seems like he's staying absolutely silent, and he's like it's like he's trying to push his family to say stuff for him, and it's like, no, you're a grown adult. You need to speak for yourself and you need to defend yourself. Okay? You can't have other people speaking for you. You have to grow up. That's the problem, and that's one thing that annoys me with him. And it's like, and I can believe the fact that he might not even want to be in New Orleans. It's nothing new as a Pelicans fan. You had CP3 that ran its course here. That whole experiment, he enjoyed his time here, and he was a lot classier about it. But he did say, you know what, I had enough, I want out. I didn't like it at the time, but I can actually respect him to this day for that. And then there's the whole Anthony Davis debacle, where the one thing I will give him credit is that he did call out the Pelicans organization for quote, I can't quote him, but basically kind of being second fiddle to the Saints. And that's one thing I'll always say. It's like before David Griffin came in, basically the Pelicans were run by the same people as the Saints, which cannot happen. But that's a whole nother story. But AD just, it's like he shut down mentally. I don't want to say physically, but also as a teammate, he shut down before he got traded, and then he never even said thank you to the organization, which I thought was a little bit on the classless side. Um, so if Zion wants out, he can easily go to someone and just say, "Hey, you know what? I want out." Speak to David Griffin himself and say, "I want out." Okay? But no, he doesn't want to do that. So that's where I'm confused about this. And then from it's like what's happening here is the fact that it's like the Pelicans and Zion just got to a point where it's like they don't even want to talk to each other. It's like there's no adult in the room to be like, okay, you know what, this is foolishness. Can we just hash out our disagreements and just kind of come to some sort of consensus? And it seems like there's none of that happening. It's like the Pelicans have just quit reaching out to Zion in any capacity to the point where the marketing team for the Pelicans promoted the Pelicans for next season and did not put in Zion's name to promote the team and their brand. That is just flat out embarrassing. It really is. And then on the flip side, you have CJ McCollum on TNT during the All-Star break saying, "Yeah, I haven't even spoken to Zion." And then you have JJ Redick saying that, "Hey, you need to kind of take this whole athlete thing seriously, like being a good teammate, welcoming your teammates in whenever they come into your organization, saying hello, send a text, something, and then also keeping up with your body physically." And JJ Redick, who I had problems with myself with his time with the Pelicans, which I'm not getting into that. That's one thing he was dead set on, and I'm so glad he did it. Because conveniently, after those two things happen, Zion Williamson, all of a sudden, he reaches out to CJ McCollum and says, "Hey, welcome to the team." He likes posts from his other teammates, like I think it was Devontae Graham and Jackson Hayes. Likes posts about them. He liked the post from Hernan Gomez, the third string center, and just saying brothers for life or something like that. Now, and I will say this, is that good? Yeah, okay. But if you're hoping for that to be a good sign, that just shows how bad this situation has gotten. Because again, it's like he's taking passive aggressive moves, but he's not going anywhere to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm committed to the Pelicans," or "I have problems with the Pelicans, I want to be traded," or somewhere in the middle. He's not making any sort of statements whatsoever. And it's so frustrating that this is the case. And it's so sad because, again, as I said, the Pelicans finally have a positive culture, mainly thanks to Willie Green. And I think a lot of it is in spite of David Griffin. And you have a Pelicans team that's playing much, much better as time goes on this season. And I think they're only getting better now integrating CJ McCollum in the team while having a young team around him. And you have an ascending Brandon Ingram and everything like that. And you have other feel good stories in there too, like Jose Alvarado, to a lesser extent, Najee Marshall, Herb Jones, not on Herb, you know? You have some great things going on there, and it just keeps getting better and better, yet it's all getting marred by this stupid drama that could have been avoided to a large extent in the first place. Yeah, injuries do happen, especially with a unique body type and the way that he plays like Zion Williamson, but there could have been a much better way to go about this. Either just adults basically being professionals or just hashing things out through conversation and coming to some sort of medium, to an agreement. But no, that just doesn't seem to happen. It's like a big giant game of chicken basically at this point. And it's honestly frustrating, especially as a fan, considering if he's on the team and he's playing for the team, the Pelicans, in my opinion, would easily be about a top 7, top 6 team in the Western Conference. And so that's just something that's extremely infuriating. All right. So I think that's all I have for you today. I know it's a little bit of a longer commentary, but that's just something I really want to get off my chest and talk about. Definitely I want to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think and everything like that. And I have been hearing that my sound quality in terms of my microphone volume has not been very good on YouTube. I'm definitely trying my best to do better in that front. So hopefully with this commentary, it will be a lot better. So again, thank you so much for watching the video. Comment in the comment section down below. Like if you like this video and subscribe if you're new. Peace.